I realized that process improvement can be applied everywhere. It's kind of like when my mom was a math teacher for 37 years, and she always said math is everywhere. And I kind of knew that, but actually seeing it, it just clicked. So the same applies to processes. Everyone has a process or a procedure they practice every day, whether it's morning routine, their lunch habits, their commute time, whatever it is, there are processes around you every single day. And for me to be able to come in and help you streamline those things, it's just beneficial because a lot of people can't see it. It's literally that forest for the trees situation. If you are living it, you don't even see sometimes how unproductive you're being or how much time you're wasting. And so I come in and help you see those things.
Let's learn how our next guest gets up, dress up, and show up on purpose. Enjoy the episode. Hello, morning enthusiasts. Welcome to the Best Morning Routine Ever podcast. I am your host, Dr. Lunid, and today I have another doctor in the house, Dr. Paulette Evans. What she does is utilize her natural God-given skill set to help individuals solve problems at work, at home, and everywhere in between. And who doesn't know who doesn't need that? So her focus is on process improvement and project management. And so out of that, Evans Efficiency Expert, the consulting firm, was born, and it helps people and organizations solve these complex problems. And I'm curious to hear a couple of those, what they are and how we can kind of get some tips on how to solve them ourselves and to implement long-lasting change in our organization. So with no further ado, Dr. Paulette, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure having you on board. Let's talk about what your doctorate in and how it kind of transitioned to process improvement and change management.
Yeah, so I guess all of my degrees kind of led me to this point. My undergrad is in electrical engineering and mathematical sciences. So I'm all about data, numbers, and streamlining things because I based everything on facts. My master's is in business, MBA, because I did, heavy on the math, heavy on the numbers with the engineering, didn't take any business courses while doing my undergrad. So I wanted to have a master's in an area that made me more well-rounded. Yeah. So the MBA came into play there. And then the doctorate I stumbled upon, I didn't even know it was out there. My husband had just finished working on his doctorate, and I kind of helped him with some of that dissertation and all that stuff. And I said, you know what? I think I'm ready to learn a little bit more. And I stumbled upon a program based on performance improvement leadership. And so, because I'm always making things better, I always want us to be better than how we are right now. We can always improve on anything that we're doing. So it just worked out and made sense that that would be the path I went on. And I honestly did process improvement for corporate for 20 years, 10 years in manufacturing, 10 years in healthcare. And so now I'm just doing that just for myself. I always wanted to own a business and march to my own music and beats. So that's what I'm doing. And I am enjoying it. I love it because it really is that thing that says, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. I really don't feel like I'm working sometimes. I'm just doing what I really am passionate about and what I love.
And helping people in the process. You found your purpose.
Yes.
There's a really fascinating quote out there that says there are two important days in your life: the day you were born and the day you found out why you were born.
Oh, yeah. I love that. That's a good one.
You're living the dream. That's an exciting journey. 20 years of doing it for corporate America. Now you step out on your own and you're helping different across all the industries.
Yeah. Because I realized that process improvement can be applied everywhere. It's kind of like when my mom was a math teacher for 37 years, and she always said math is everywhere. And I kind of knew that, but actually seeing it, it just clicked. So the same applies to processes. Everyone has a process or a procedure they practice every day, whether it's morning routine, their lunch habits, their commute time, whatever it is, there are processes around you every single day. And for me to be able to come in and help you streamline those things, it's just beneficial because a lot of people can't see it. It's literally that forest for the trees situation. If you are living it, you don't even see sometimes how unproductive you're being or how much time you're wasting. And so I come in and help you see those things.
So in your field, we're talking about, it's not just habits and routines. We're talking about automations. Like, how do we streamline this process so that you can free yourself, free your time, and actually focus on better things?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I see in terms of who I help as an individual, a solopreneur, an entrepreneur, a nonprofit organization, a corporate company. Everyone has that same situation where something isn't working. We're not being our most productive selves. We need to figure out what's going on. So we need some
Mm-hmm.
outside eyes to come in. And I start by looking at what you have going on, what your processes are, what your day to day, your current state. I look at all of that and figure out where the gaps are, where the waste is happening. And I pull those things out, show you new processes, and then help you sustain those new behaviors.
Yeah. Is it fair to say you're a maximizer by nature? Just
Oh,
like a
definitely.
personality, just a personality trait.
Yes, absolutely.
Excellence is your task, your standard, right? You
Yes, it
go
is.
for how to efficiency and how to get that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I can totally relate to that. So let's talk about some of the complex issues or problems that you see
Mhm.
that reoccurs.
So the big one is, and this is the one I hate, actually. I hate when people say this, that we've always done it this way. Like they
Oh,
know something
yikes.
isn't working. And I mean, every day it stares them in the face. It is not working. But they are stuck in, but we've always done it this way. We've done it this way for 20 years. And I'm like, you've been wasting time for 20 years. What I'm here to tell you, you need to stop. I can stop it for you. If you're afraid to do it, let me come in. I can do that. And I learned that switching from manufacturing to healthcare, it was a different focus. I had different customers, but again, same position, same type of work. I realized that with healthcare, they are constantly trying to make things better for their patients, for their employees, everything. And so in manufacturing, it was a lot of, we've been doing it this way forever. And in healthcare, I got there my very first project. The executive director said, just we can start from scratch. If you can trash the whole thing if you want to. Whatever
Yeah.
you tell us, we're ready to do because we need to do better. And I was like, that is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. And so now
Hmm.
on my own, I realize that there's still people out there, people or nonprofits or organizations that get stuck. And I think COVID maybe helped them become even more in that quicksand because they got into this like limited routine. Like you can only do certain things. And some people haven't gotten back out of that yet. So
Hmm.
the COVID part is not, it did not help in terms of some of these bad behaviors. It just, you doubled down because you didn't have a choice in the moment. And now that we're coming on the other side of it, it's hard for you to pull back and say, you know what, let me take off these extra three hats I put on. I don't need them anymore. So you need somebody to come and like pull you out of that. And so that's what I've been doing. That the most complex things that by far have been the bad habits that had to be picked up during COVID. Being able to
Oh,
put those back down
interesting.
right now. Like you don't
Interesting.
need to do that anymore. You don't need that anymore.
Yeah, and it sounds like it's more of the personnel, the CEOs, the entrepreneurs themselves who picked up those habits. And then,
Yeah,
of course, you know how it is with leadership. It starts top down, right? So if you pick up
exactly.
a bad habit, you're going to teach it that way, and it's going to run havoc in your organization. So what are some of the specific ones that people they need to drop from COVID is over?
Oh, goodness. So I will say a working woman, working and or busy women, because every woman who's busy isn't necessarily working, but she's doing something. Most women are doing something every day. It's the habit they picked up with taking on more responsibility, because I feel like COVID impacted us more than men, because we already had 20,000 things happening. And now we have these extra things. So feeling that obligation to pick up extra tasks, whether it be at home, at the office, we do sometimes have a problem delegating or holding people
Hmm.
accountable. You know, I'm on a team with somebody. This is an example. I'm on a team with someone and she isn't doing what she's supposed to be doing. I'll just do it because it needs to
Yeah.
get done anyway, blah, blah, blah. And I think that became more like it's exponentially high in terms of actions during COVID. Because in that everyone was in reaction, we just got to get this done mode. And so now some ladies I'm working with, they are still doing that. They're still picking up like five other people slack in the office. They still have to figure out how to go into the office or not because it's hybrid. And being hybrid should be it should be a relief. It should help your life. It should make your life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
If you're hybrid and you're extremely stressed, then there's something going on. You're doing too much for somebody else, or you're focused on the wrong tasks, or you're picking up people's slack that you shouldn't be. And you've
Yeah.
gotten comfortable doing that for 2 years, and now you can't undo it. So
Yeah.
that one's
And
been a big one.
that's not even just the office front, but at home. Mothers had
Mhm.
to be teachers. They had to be the school
Yes.
lunch lady. They had to be the teachers. They
Yes.
had to be the nurse. They had to be
Everything.
everything, and then add that on with other people's tasks that they had to take on at work.
Yeah,
It sounds exhausting.
it
How do
is.
you help them lighten that burden, that load?
Yes, I have to show them and teach them that it's okay to be selfish. Like, I mean, right now you have to be. No one else is putting you first. And you can think that someone is, but no one is. No one is out to save you. You have to save yourself. Because if you're in your best time, your best place, you're sane, you can actually get way more done. You can do all the things you need to do. If you're full, then you can flow over to other people and to other things. If you're not putting yourself first, you're always at the bottom, it's going to be detrimental. And there's no way to sustain that. You can't sustain that forever. And it's going to end up, you're going to end up realizing it when it's too late. Like when God steps in and puts you down, that's when you're going to be like, you know what, I'm doing too much. And sometimes you can't do it for yourself. Something else has to happen. And what I want is for that not to happen. I don't want it to be you're sick and your body's shutting down because you can't just do it yourself. This is one of the things you don't want forced upon you. You want to choose, okay, I need to stop. I need to stop all of this. I need to put myself first and figure out what I need to be working on, what I need to prioritize, then make room for somebody else, whether that's husband, children, whatever. You have to put yourself first. Then you can put in everybody else's wish list and tasks that they need help with or that they need.
Because if you're ill, you can't help anybody else. If you're in a sick bed, you can't show up for anyone else at that point. Let's think system wise, because I love how your brain works. Numbers and the logic aspect of it. What's the first thing? Some of the things that you actually help people with to automate in terms of the system wide aspect of it.
Yeah, some of the tools are really simple. It's like people live on their phone, and I'm like, use that phone to your benefit. Like, make it work for you. My phone, I don't have a personal assistant. My personal assistant is my phone, I guess, because it'll say, hey, girl, you need to, leave in 10 minutes if you're going to get to that meeting on time. And I'm like, thank you. I didn't even ask for that. But Google, I love Google everything. So I help people use the tools they have. Because, and this is a project management reference, everybody in my companies I worked for, everyone didn't have Microsoft Project, which is the project management software. Everybody didn't have that. So I had to use Excel sometimes because everybody had Excel. Right. So it's using the tools you have, because I don't want to dictate to you certain tools. If you can't access those tools, then you're not getting helped. I can't help you if I'm showing you something that you don't have access to. So I typically walk them through whatever they're already using. Google Calendar, for instance. Google Calendar is an amazing tool and it's easy. Put everything in the calendar. I schedule me time in the calendar. Everything that I'm doing is in the calendar. If it's not in the calendar, it doesn't exist. And there are reminders, everything. It's kind of like using the tools you have to make yourself more efficient. If you're always running around like a chicken with your head cut off, getting ready for things, you need to buffer in more time to get yourself together. Start meetings earlier. The meeting starts at 8:30, put in your calendar for 8. If you already know how you operate, you need to put things in place to save you from yourself.
Being real. Yeah, that's real. Yeah. Being real with yourself, knowing your shortcomings and how to offset them so that you do show up better. And for some of the systems that you put in place, what do you think about Asana, Trello, these like productivity softwares?
I've used all of those. Yeah. And if I'm dealing with somebody who is very system oriented, like this is not a foreign language to them, then I would suggest something like Asana, because it helps you stay on track. You can check off your to-do list, you put reminders, all that stuff in there. So if someone isn't really savvy, then I start them with just Google first, just something real simple, and other reminders and tools and apps within their phone. I think there's like a to-do list app. I call it to-do list, but it's like a note app. And so I often jot down things in there when I'm just free thinking, like I'm sitting in traffic or I'm at a light and I have an idea. I jot it down in there, and then I put a reminder on it to, when I get home, remind me to put that inside my computer, like put it where I need to put it. In that moment, I just jot it down real quick. So it's a matter of just taking advantage of the moments you have and the tools you have in the palm of your hand.
Technology makes it easier. There's syncing, right? Auto syncing. You use one thing on your phone, it could sync to your computer so that you're only writing it once.
Exactly.
Why is that important? I can think of one thing, like your sanity. Being able to automate these things and make it work for you in your benefit. So in your opinion, as an expert, why is it crucial to automate, delegate, farm it off? There's another one. I keep forgetting what it is, but why is that crucial?
Yeah, because it is literally, you can only be so much, and none of us are amazing and good at everything, and none of us can do everything. So once you realize what you're good at, what you need to focus on, then you can be your most productive self. You can actually show up and do the things you need to do and not forget things, not miss things that are very important, especially if you've already committed to doing that thing. And so like not having it in your calendar, for instance, and you just completely forget, then what? You look unreliable, people stop contacting you and reaching out, and it just kind of snowballs into this whole mess that could have been avoided. So being able to automate what you can, record what you can, because nobody's memory is what it was yesterday. And it's only going to get worse. You cannot remember everything. Sticky notes are not the answer. So you need to figure out a way to make things make sense and simplify, of course. Don't overcomplicate it, but also use the tool you have to your advantage. A phone is a very powerful device. You can do a lot with the different apps. It's a savior at the moment. People become a slave to it, unfortunately, but it could be your saving grace if you use it the right way and empower it to empower you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well put. And for you said that you start really simple with some people, the Google Calendar and probably Google Drive, working in
Mhm.
a live document, so that you're not sending a PDF or a hard copy every time. Let's
Mhm.
talk about more the complex one. We have Google Drive, you have Asana, you have Trello,
Yeah.
you have Slack for communication
Yeah.
that like makes it easy
Mhm.
to connect with your team. Let's ramp it up more advanced. What are some of the tools
Yeah,
that are
those
there?
are so Microsoft Teams, I really enjoy. Again, if you're an organization or a group that uses Microsoft, Teams is very, very similar to Google Chat or to Slack to me. I
Slack.
mean, it's very comparable. But with Teams, it links to your documents. If you have a whole Microsoft package, it becomes very powerful because you can
Yeah.
link documents. It becomes a Google Drive plus Microsoft package suite all in one. So it's really, really powerful, really effective. But if you don't have all that, Slack is also a really good option. I use it for some of my volunteer organizations. And
Yeah.
we just drop in real quick what someone needs to do, or hey, I saw this happen the other day. I think that's something we should think about. Let's talk about it at the next board meeting, things like that. So again, it's the things that are out there. There's just so many. So once you
Mhm.
figure out which one works best for you, and you can dabble, most of them are free platforms. You just sign up for it or download the app. You figure out which one works best for you. Trello, I thought was okay. I like Slack better than I will say. I mean, but I used Trail, I think, gosh, that was maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I haven't looked at it since. So it may have improved since then and may be a better platform right now. But Slack I've used most recently, and I use Teams all the time because I use Microsoft everything.
Yeah. And everything's a project, right?
It
Ev-
is. It is. Everything has steps. And it's
yeah.
that thing where I teach a lot of teams to focus on the project plan. And it is not daunting. It sounds like it. It sounds real official, real formal. It's not. It's just the steps you need to complete to get this thing done. What does that look like? That literally is your project plan. Those 10 steps are your project plan. And now you figure out what the timing looks like. Step one needs to be done by this date. Then step two can start. And it just flows that way. And if you follow that, you can get anything done.
Hmm. What are the steps to project management? Because you're right, everything is a project. Even like setting up the automation prop piece of it becomes a project.
It
Or
does.
so, what are
It
some
does.
steps that people can really like consider whenever they're starting a new venture that
Mhm.
becomes that forms a project later?
Yeah, yeah. So the first thing is, why are you doing it? Like, what is it? What is the end goal? Like, what's the end game after all this is said and done? What will you have at the end of it? And you kind of start with that in mind. Then you start thinking and brainstorming through the different things that need to get done to make this thing happen. And that's when you start kind of bucketizing. If you need to, I don't know, reach out to people, you need to make some contacts with some people that are already working on something like this. Then that's its own list of tasks. Do you need to find a location for something? If this is an event, for instance, do you need to find a location? Then you kind of figure out the 5 or 6 locations that will work. Do you need to have entertainment? Do you need to have a speaker? It just kind of starts. So the more you think about what you need to do, the more that project plan starts flowing. And you just start jotting things down. I tell some people, if your mind doesn't think linearly,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to just start dumping. Like just start writing down everything you can think of. And then you can go back in and put it where it needs to be and put it in order. Sometimes it's easier just to dump it, like just everything that you're thinking, just kind of fast brain dump, and then go back and line it up. But if you already think that way, then you will think it and just write it out in order.
Mm-hmm.
But it
And I
comes
think
from, again, knowing that end game. That end goal will help you figure out that project plan and all the necessary steps, all the things you need to do, the things you need to delegate. And that's the good thing about, again, that plan, those steps. You start assigning it to people. And again, this is where Asana comes in because you can put it in there and assign it. So it's just so much you can do. You just have to know about it.
Mm-hmm. And you said the end game. Know the end game. Every project comes to an end. There's a closure. There's a proper way of closing that chapter, and then we rinse and repeat for new ventures.
Exactly, exactly. And this could be an event, it could be a program, it can be a system implementation at your job, it could be a luncheon that you're trying to have for a group of friends, that it could be a trip you're going on with your husband. I mean, everything is a project, and that's
Mhm.
the end game. I want to have fun on this trip. So what do I need to do to make sure that happens? I'm going to
And
first figure out where we're going, and then I'm going to figure out what the flights look like, and then I'm going to figure out what days we're going. I mean, so it starts lining up just like that.
we do this naturally, right? We do it without even
Yep.
thinking. We're project managers, and we're not even
Exactly.
tattling
Exactly.
ourselves that, because it sounds like there's a lot of planning taking place.
It's true. It is true. And that's the thing where I'm an amazing planner, and everyone isn't. Some people are, and that's great. The people that aren't, that's why they need me. So
Hmm.
I love planning, and I can look at anybody's situation. We were talking earlier about how I can go from across all industries, across all
Hmm.
people, because it's all the same to me. I look at every problem exactly the same. What is it you need done? When do you need it done? And I just dive in and I help make it happen.
That's fantastic. I know that you have a secret formula that can be followed when you're hustling hard and you want to embrace ambition. Share that with us.
Oh goodness. That's one of my talks. I forgot about that. Well, not forgot, it's like filed away. Oh, let me see. So I want to say that one I thought of because we were in an entrepreneur panel, and everyone was kind of a solopreneur or a new business owner. And I wanted them to understand that you have to work hard. You have to, like, hard work is there and it's necessary. You can't, like, yeah, you can't get anything done without hard work. And I had this whole acronym, but the gist of it was hard work, making sure that you have a program or a project or a subject that's like different from everybody else. You got to make room and break through the noise in the market. You have to
Okay.
offer something that is unique, so unique
Mhm.
offering, and then steadfast engagement, being engaged with everybody, like the marketplace, networking, making sure you have your name out there, making sure that people know who you are and what you're providing,
Mhm.
making sure that you take advantage of every opportunity that you have, making sure that you learn. I want to say listen, learn, somewhere in there that L was in there.
Mhm.
And then, of course, you have to celebrate all of your successes, every opportunity, but don't start sleeping. Once you check off that one thing, you figure out what the next big thing is. There is no time to waste. There is no time to press pause, especially if you're in entrepreneur life, solopreneur, you are hustling all the time. I tell my husband, I said, if I'm ever here watching TV with you without my computer, then something's not getting done. There isn't a little person or a monkey or a leprechaun or a fairy that comes and says, you know what? Let me do this for Paulette while she's watching TV. No one is doing that. I am the only person in this business. So every time I finish one thing, I'm like, okay, what's that next thing? Like, what is it? What am I doing next? What am I trying to tackle next? And so it is a hustle life, the life of a solopreneur, that's for sure. And so I wanted everybody to understand that it is a lot of work, but it's very rewarding.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna tap into. It doesn't feel like work because you're adding so much value and you
Hmm.
enjoy giving back to the clients, the people that you work with.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the best part about what you do?
The fact that I love it. And I
Yeah.
think, well, not I think, I know people tell me this. They say when I talk about it, I'm so passionate and excited that they just can't help but want me to work with them. And I say it's just when I love something, I love it hard. And you can tell because I'm not a salesperson, I can't fake anything. So if I'm this passionate, it's because I really am this passionate. And people really see that. It just kind of radiates off of me. And I love that because I want them to see that I enjoy doing what I'm doing. And there's
And
nothing that
you
you can
teach
bring
that.
to me. Yeah, there's nothing you can bring to me that's too difficult. There's nothing I would turn away because I literally love this all the time. So,
Yeah, and you teach that. You strike me as you embody that, but you also teach people to love what they do so much that
yes,
it comes easy. There's a quote that says, "Be so good at it that they can't ignore you." Right?
exactly. That's
Be
right.
so unique and stand out that
Yeah.
you walk in and they just you just embody that passion for what you do.
Hmm.
And yeah, I like to say for the morning routine, your passion will wake you up. You don't need an alarm clock.
Definitely.
So
Yep, yep, yep. The
dive into that.
excitement. That
Let's talk.
excitement. Yeah. And
Let's talk about.
I've been in a toxic job before where I dreaded getting up. Like I would wake up and just lay there for a minute and just will
Mhm.
myself to get up. will myself to take a shower, will myself to get in the car, will myself to drive to the office. And then I'd sit in the parking lot and have to will myself to get out of the car. Like, it was really bad. And I was like, okay, this has got to change. This is not normal. This can't be what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to be loving my work. And I think that's because my brother and I were always like instilled in us that hard work is necessary. You should love what you're doing. You should always be showing up, giving 1,000%. And so I'm like, I want to do that, but I hate this job so much. I can't. And that's when I realized that I needed to switch. That's when I left manufacturing and went over to healthcare.
It's real.
So with healthcare was amazing. I loved all 10 years of it. And so now I have that same zest and excitement when I wake up. I do lay for a second just to kind of get my mind ready for the day, figure out what it is I need to do, kind of go through my calendar in my mind a little bit. And then I grab my phone. So my phone isn't beside me. I have to get out of the bed to get my phone. So that's one thing I always do. I never sleep with it beside me. So I get my phone, and that's when I really pull up my calendar and just kind of see what it is I have on tap for the day, start thinking through how I want to make everything happen. And then I start looking at email a little bit to see if there's anything immediate I need to respond to, if any clients have reached out or they need help with something. And then I get out of bed and start my day. So, yeah. Oh, and I left out my mantra. I do have a mantra.
Okay.
When I get in the mirror, I stand in the mirror and I say, I am fabulous and I can do anything. And I say those words and I'm like, all right, ready to go. Let's do it.
That's a trigger for you. You're like, you're on.
Let's do it.
It's like
That's
Dr.
right.
Paulette on. Why is that
exactly
important? Why is that important?
I feel like, and it's a mantra, if it's your favorite song, that song you play on the way to work that gets you jazzed and excited, whatever it is for you, you need to have that one thing. So in the morning, you say it, you read it, you do it, you listen to it, and that starts your day off on the right foot, and you can go out there and conquer the world.
Mm-hmm. And do you find yourself that mantra reciting itself back to you, and then doing a tough, sluggish day, or doing a moment where you're like, oh, I'm tired, but it kind of revitalizes you?
It does. And if I have a situation or a problem, something I haven't encountered before, like if there's something new, because there's always something new happening in that moment when I'm like, am I supposed to be working on this? Or can I get this? And then yeah, girl, you're fabulous. You can do anything. Get to work. Get to work.
You're fabulous. What's the mantra? You're fabulous. There's another.
I am fabulous and I can do anything.
That's it. Right on. I really like that. Those are powerful. That's reprogramming the subconscious mind.
Yes. Yeah. I try not to tell myself anything negative. I try not to tell myself no ever. So I'm like, there's going to be 1,000 other people telling me no constantly. I'm going to always tell myself yes, no matter what the question is.
Yeah, because the dialogue happening, you talk to yourself all the time. You're listening. You're listening and you're executing what you're hearing. And we don't believe that, but the subconscious mind is directing our every move.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we have to reprogram it so that it is positive, it is empowering, and that it actually can manifest itself strongly. So I am really glad you shared that. And yours is very simple. Yours is a mantra.
Yeah, real simple.
Other people, meditation, you have all this, the other stuff that is necessary for them. Like, for me, it's working out, but affirmations are a big thing. Like, I will put an affirmation and go for a run and listen to that for 30 minutes. And again, it's imperative, because you think about the getting up and dressing up and showing up. It's more of a mental. It's not just the physical beauty routine, morning routine. It's more, how do I prep my mind? How do I stimulate my mind to show up and be prepared for the day?
Yeah. And get that armor on to be able to tackle anything and whatever comes in your way that's negative, or the people that are naysayers, or the ones that are out there just trying to block you from getting things done. So
you don't want to be
mentally ready.
Yeah. Get out of your own way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you reading these days?
I am not reading much of anything. I feel like my life is so, I want to say awesome, but it's busy. It's constant. It's really, really constant in a good way. I have no complaints at all. But I only read like fiction and things like that. I think because my life is so real, like I live so in such reality that I don't want to read autobiographies. I don't want to read self-help. I don't need self-help. I know how to tell myself what to do. And I read cookbooks. I do read cookbooks because I love creating new recipes. So I'm always often reading a cookbook. I will say that, or a cooking magazine or something. But I don't really get into heavy novels and things like that, because I like to have my moments where I'm just like free for a second from just the reality and the real of all of it.
be able to check out.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of time we don't know how to really relax.
Exactly.
It's all intermingled. It's all in the mix versus like
Hmm.
truly relax. So when you do show up, you show up present.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tell us, Dr. Paulette, how can we connect with you? Where can we find you?
So you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. My handle is at Paulette J. Evans on all of them. And then my website for my business is evansefficiencyexperts.com.
Very nice. Dr.
Yeah.
Paulette, I love quotes. I'll leave us with a quote of yours.
Oh, so one of my favorites, I want to say is Nancy Nagel. She said, like, live your life in a way that every time your feet hit the floor in the morning, Satan shudders and says, oh crap, she's awake. But yeah, that's my favorite.
Oh man, that's good. It's thought provoking, Watch
Mhm.
out, world. You're
That's
coming.
right. That's right.
A force not to be reckoned with. Oh, that's
Exactly.
good. Thank you,
Exactly.
Dr. Paulette, for sharing that. It's been such
Thank
a pleasure
you.
having you on the show.
Same. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please comment and tell us what was your favorite part, your favorite habit that you are going to try out for yourself today. Comment below. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, I will see you at the top of your best morning routine ever. Stay blessed.